Welcome back everybody, and what I'm going to be doing today is a world record bivvy bag attempt, and this is in support of mental health research. Okay then, so what I'm doing is I'm taking part in this bivvy bag challenge, and as it says on the tin, it's a world record attempt. So the idea is to get as many people all around the world bivvying up, so in an actual bivvy bag as opposed to a tent. Great idea, get out in the wilderness and all that good stuff. Obviously I've done this billions of times in the army, it's what you do all the time on exercise, but it's a good excuse to get out in the wilderness. So I'm out in the Brecon Beacons. This is a wood line out in the Brecon Beacons. It's February, so it's going to be quite chilly tonight, but you know, it's all part of practicing with your kit, getting out, practicing your fieldcraft and stuff, eh? So what we're using as part of this is this Crossfire DG3 Slick. The guys over at Crossfire kindly sent me this to do a trial on, so I'll be taking this out and field testing this today. I've got all my kit packed in here. This won't be an actual review, but what I'll be doing is field testing this with a view of doing a review sometime in the near future. Right then, so I've found my bivvy spot for the night. What I've done is I've had a look around. This wood, even though it might not look like it, is actually quite wet. So there's a lot of boggy ground, a lot of moss and all that sort of stuff. Quite obviously I want to stay away from that. I found myself a relatively dry area here, which is relatively flat. I've had a look up as well and made sure there's no deadfall, what you American guys might call widowmakers. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start clearing the area of all this sort of brush and stuff on the ground, get myself a nice clear area, comfortable, so I can get a decent night's kit for the night. So first thing I'm going to do is get my kit off, well, get my Bergen off at least anyway, get my Basha out, clear the area, and then start getting the Basha up. Right, and so next thing, I've cleared my area, there's no crap on the ground anymore. Next thing I'll do is get my Basha up, or tarp in American parlance. So this is a Rab Siltarp 2, nice and lightweight, compact bit of kit. Not the cheapest, but a lot more compact, a lot lighter than an army issue Basha. So I'm just going to start whacking this up now. I've chosen the trees that I think are going to work, and I'm going to start just whacking this up. Right then, so I've got all four corners of the tarp or Basha strung out to the trees then. There's a good bit of tension on that there. This isn't a tactical Basha for anyone out there that wants to start DSing this and saying, yeah, it's too high, it's too shiny and all that good stuff. However, what I need to do once I've got those four corners out is elevate it, okay? So I've got a piece of cord tied onto the center point there. And as I showed on one of my shorts videos, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie something on the end, and I've got a piece of basically a stick that I've found that's fairly weighty because it's waterlogged, and I'm going to use that to throw up over a branch and elevate the centre of the Basha so that the rain then runs off it rather than collects in the centre. Okay. You can see there then that's elevated the centre of the Basha. I'm then going to tie this string off onto this little branch here, and then I'm going to just titivate the edges a little bit so that it's nice and even and nice and tight. What I'm going to do next then is actually start setting up my sleeping space in here, get my kit out, my Bergen, my rucksack. And what's great about this type of rucksack, this Crossfire DG3 then, is you can access your kit without having to go in through the top. So what we've got is these two buckles here that you undo, and a zip that just opens up the entire rucksack, okay? And you can see there I've got my kit in all dry bags organised nicely. I've got my med kit on this side, I've got my bivvy bag and my sleeping bag in the bottom there, my Gore-Tex there, my hats and gloves there in a little separate bag. So they're all nicely organised, and all I need to do basically is grab this at the bottom, and this is my sleeping system set up ready to go. So in that dry bag then, all I need to do is open that up, And inside there I've got my bivvy bag already set up with my sleeping bag inside it. So I've got that zipped up to give it an extra layer of waterproofness, and then I've got my sleeping bag inside there. So a nice warm Rab sleeping bag inside my Gore-Tex bivvy bag, and that's just good to go there. And then all I'm going to do next is whack out my Thermarest sleeping pad, and that's it. That's good to go. You can see that took seconds there. All I've got to do now is unroll that sleeping pad. I can zip that up, and other than just packing that kit away, that's good to go. So that's that. Right then, so it's morning now. I've packed up my kit into my pack. Had a little bit of a chilly night, but kept myself relatively warm by putting a fire on. Sun's out now anyway, so that's all good. Starting to warm up a little bit. Obviously, first things first, priorities. Get a Scoff on and get a Brew on. So I've got my jet boil here. Army issue rations, buck cheese from the army, obviously. And yeah, it's always good to, once you get your kit packed away, get your admin squared, get yourself a Brew on at least, and if you've got time, then get some Scoff on as well. And then once that's going there, then I can start getting on with my admin. So I can start making sure I've tidied away all my kit. I can start checking the area, and if I haven't done so already, I'm going to check my feet, change my socks, make sure my feet are in good order so I can get on the road again. Right, so now I'm all packed up, all my kit's packed away. The last thing to take down is the shelter. Obviously, if it was still a little bit poor weather, if it's raining or whatever, then you're going to leave this until last to give yourself a bit of shelter whilst you're packing your kit away. So the first point I'm going to take down is the central elevation point that I showed on putting it up last night. And this is just tied off here, and all I'm going to do is undo that string there, and then that's ready to just pull down. So that's that done, easy peasy. Once I've done that, then I'm just going to start taking in the other points from the edges of the Basha. So I'll pack the Basha away then, or the tarp. That's it packed away there. You can see how compact, how small that is, and it's really lightweight too. So you know, I'm not trying to sell these or anything. I've got no link with Rab whatsoever. I wish I did, but that is kind of about a third of the size of an issue British Army Basha, and at least as big, if not slightly bigger actually. But yeah, that's all packed up there then. So I'll put that away in my kit. Last thing I'm going to do before I leave this area then is do a complete check of the area. So first thing that's going to do is make sure if I've dropped anything, if anything's dropped out of my pockets, I'm going to find that. So I'm looking for anything that I may have dropped. Secondly is to ensure that there's no rubbish been left in this area and it's totally clear of any rubbish in the area. Okay, so I'm going to have a whole look around the area and make sure that there's nothing on the ground. With your rubbish then, obviously make sure that you take everything with you. Okay, so that's all my food stuff. I've got 2 boiling bags in there and a couple of Brew packets, all that sort of stuff. You've got to make sure that you take all your rubbish with you. Obviously it's bad drills if you've dropped anything on the ground to leave anything, and it's sad to see that people do actually leave rubbish laying around on the ground. So that's all packed away in my kit as well. So as you're searching around the ground, having a look, making sure you've not left anything. If you've had a fire of any kind, obviously you need to make sure that this is not hot at all and there's no embers left in there. So have a little feel around. Yeah, that's just stone cold now. So all I'll do with that is just kind of spread the ash around a bit, and then I can cover it up with some of the debris from the area. So, you know, just your dirt and all that, just to tidy that up a little bit, kind of spread it around. As I say, making sure that that doesn't create a hazard, you know, to the environment. So making sure it doesn't start any kind of forest fire or anything like that. So that's me done here for the night. I'm just going to get my kit on now, move on through the forest and crack on with the rest of the day. If any people out there watching this enjoy being outdoors, doing sort of survival type stuff, just on a side note, I actually run a company called First in Events as well, and one of the things we do is survival and bushcraft weekends. We're running one on the 23rd, 24th of April. If anyone is interested in coming along and learning the sort of skills for the outdoors, fire lighting, you know, stuff with water, navigation, shelter building, all that good stuff. So anyway, cheers and see you later. Stay prepared.